it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today is the tutorial to go with the Pootlers Brog Hop that I was on yesterday. So if you follow my blog, you might have seen what I made, and I'm going to show you how I made it today. So the blog hop was, the theme was the new catalogue, and I decided to use what jumped out at me straight away when I saw the catalogue, and it starts with art bundle. So that's a stamp set and a die set. So that's the stamp set, and I got this on stage. We used it on stage, and at the end of our bit of crafting, the box that all the stuff's in, and everybody takes turns to take something out, and this was what I really wanted, and I got it. So then in my pre-order I ordered the die set to go with it, and this is our new packaging, which I love. Because Stampin' Up are making their own dies now. They're not Sizzits ones, and you've got things to cut out these elements here, and then you've got lots and lots of other things, an actual paper clip, so you can make a paper clip. That's just amazing. And then you've got these lovely borders, and this button border I just adore, and then all the little buttons to go with it. So that's what we're using today. Here they are. So this is called Follow Your Art Designer Series paper. Look at the beautiful colours. Now the colours in this are Basic Grey, Blushing Bright, Clips of Coral, Coastal Cabana, Crust Curry, Pacific Point and Whisper White. So you've got that lovely sort of splash there of colour. We've got some lovely stationery there, so paper clips, bulldog clips and poppers. We call those poppers, popper fastenings. And then this one, which I love. This one got all your glue guns, your re-inkers, gorgeous. This one, lovely pen. I do plan on doing probably a pen pot with that. Well, why not? And that'll be lovely on notebooks as well, won't it? And then all your sort of tools, paintbrushes and things like that. And then if you're not like me and love stationery, I love stationery, then you've got some plainer patterns on the other side. So that's really lovely, looking like sort of cross stitching. There's a nice little stripe. Oh, we've got some scissors, so we do still have some stationery bits on that side. That is beautiful. I've done a project in that, which I shall show you. That's quite cute as well, and then that's lovely as well. I love not Clips of Coral, Coastal Cabana. I just love it. Okay, so that you get 2 sheets of each in the packet. So you remember the stationery storage systems that I have made a lot of. Well, I've made an adhesive one. So you might remember my embellishment one, my embossing folder one, and the first one I made was for the large dies. Well, I completed my set now, and I've got adhesive ones, but of course this is retired stuff. So I'm going to, and I need 2 of these because I need one. I have the desk I design at, and I have the area that I film at. So I'm going to make another one of these in the new DSP, and then I got one on my desk. This will be on my desk with all the others, and then this one I'm making now will be next to me, and I've designed it so I've got room at the back there for the dimensionals, and tear and tape goes in there quite nicely. There, a snail fits in there. We've got our glue dots here. I've got place to put my Tombow, and then this is my glue that I'm using at the moment because Tombow's not available, but I do use this a lot when I'm making mini albums and things. And that's my little eraser if I get glue anywhere, and I'm always losing that, so that fits in there perfectly. So yes, this is designed for exactly my needs, which is why I like making it myself. And it's really sturdy. I've done it so it is really, really solid and sturdy and not let's get started. Okay, so there's an awful lot of measurements in this, but don't worry about writing them down, because that's not part of it, because I will put everything, all the measurements, over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. Okay, so we'll get the scoreboard. So we've got the back piece here, which is 6.5 by 6.5, and this is going to be this bit here at the back. So we're going to be doing this in 3 separate sections, and we're just going to score 1 inch on each side, and then 90-degree turn, and we're going to score at 2.5 and 3.5. Okay, and then our middle section, that is 6.5 by 5.5. So again, we're going to do our 1 inches on each side, and then we're going to score at 2 and then 3. And then the front section, which is a lot wider, so this section here is 1 inch, that section there's 1 inch, but this section's 2 inches to enable us to hold this big bad boy there. You can adjust the measurements if you want to hold different things. So on the long side, we're going to score at 2 inches, flip it, score at another 2 inches, and then on the short side we're going to score at 1.5 and at 3.5. And that's all the, well, it's not all the scoring, oh dear, nearly all the scoring. So then what we need to do is, we've got a square here, which is going to hold, is for this glue bit here, and we're going to score at, so this is 1/16 shy of 5 by 5, so so it's just slightly smaller than 5, and we're going to score at 1.5 on all 4 sides. Oh, jump there. Okay, and then this is the divider up the middle, and this is 3 by 6, but I've gone again a smidge under, like a 1/16 under. So on the long side we're going to score at 1, at 3 and at 5, and then we're going to score at 1 inch on each side. Okay, that is all the scoring. What we need to do is fold and burnish. So that's all our bits: the back, the middle, the divider for the middle, the front, the glue holder, and then we've got a little bit to stick on top, but we'll do that in a bit. So these two are a little bit different. All these go together in exactly the same way, so you don't need to see me putting them all together. I'll show you one and then I'll speed up all the others. So we're going to cut down these and then just wedge in, so we get rid of the bit that's been scored. Not quite got rid of that one. Same on the other side. This is thick whisper white, by the way, just to give it a little bit of extra strength. And then I like to sandwich, so that's going to stick on the outside of the back, and that's going to go in there so that you haven't got any sort of tag bits there. So we're going to put glue on the outside bits. That's been standing and has managed to there we go. So that's going to go on the inside of the back. Not that it matters, it's all going to get covered over with us, so it wouldn't matter if I'd have put the other one forward, to be fair, because we're going to cover all these side bits anyway. So actually I have, it's a good job it doesn't matter because I've just done that wrong. I've stuck that to the wrong side, so I'm going to put this on the inside now instead of the outside. But it doesn't matter because you're not going to see that anyway. So we'll just put some glue up this side. I was doing this, the deadline to get our blogs on the fancy thing that enables you to do the hop is 9 o'clock tonight, and I knew what I was making, but I hadn't actually designed it. So I spent this morning designing it up until lunchtime. Then I remembered a couple of other things that I had to do, like customer thank yous. So I took a break to design a customer thank you, handmade gift, and then card. And then I prepped all the stuff for this, and now I've started the filming. So my head's a bit mashed, really. So then I'm going to take my long scissors and I just cut that diagonal. Like so. And that is the back done. Now it feels a bit flimsy at the moment, but it won't be because it's all going to get covered. So you're going to have 2 layers of card and DSP layered on this, and the same on the outside. So that's the first one. Now these are done in exactly the same way, so I will speed up now. Now, as you can see, this slopes down nicely together. That's how I've designed it, so that it goes like that. Now, one thing that to show with this is when that goes up and this goes over, we've got quite a bit of bump there. So I'm going to trim these down a bit. So just go about halfway, trim these off. Okay, and as I did it wrong on the one I showed you, you stick these to the back and then the front comes up like that. Okay, so the glue goes on the inside, not the outside. And then that forms a nice square there, and you can see that nice line there. So that is the bases of our 3 boxes. Now we just got to put the dividers in that we need to put in, and as you can see on the inside it's all smooth, so you've got none of those flaps showing, so whatever you put in there hasn't got anything to catch on. There's only a slight little bit there on the 2 sides. So we've got our bit for the glue and our divider. Now if you've watched my other videos where I've made these dividers, it is exactly the same. So we're going to, it's going to get folded that way, and these flaps, and then these need to come out. So we're going to notch the centre, same on the other side. Then we're going to notch that off there and notch that like that. And that is what you end up with, that shape. And then you're going to put glue down the middle to stick it in half. Of course you don't have to have the divider, but I do think it helps things stay in place, because if you're using the snail, then that will have rolled. If you're using that, the snail will have fallen over. So that's why I put the divider in. It will take fast fuse. You could put empty Tombow in the back if you wanted. It will hold other tape runners, whatever. And then we just need to put glue on all these sides to stick it in there, like so. And I want a bit of wigglage, which is why I always prefer wet glue, like wigglage, because as I put it in, I'm gonna have my snail, got my glue dots, just to help me put it in the right place. So it is fully made to measure. So if you've got other glues and tape runners that you want to use, then you can put this wherever you want, but that's in the right place for those. And then our glue, what we've got to do first is we've got to cut a hole in this for the glue to go through. And so you can't get a punch in there, so I'm going to use a die. So I'm using the smallest circle here, which is actually too big, so I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to use my 1 1/8 inch scallop punch. You want it bigger than an inch, not quite an inch and a quarter, which is what this is, I think, about 1 1/4 inches. So that's too big. So we're going to cut that, and then we'll stick this on top. So what I did, although I can't see it now, to help me get that in the right place, I'm going to cut that, get a bit of snail, stick that in the middle, about where I want it. I was just looking at that thinking, that doesn't look about right. And then you can then line that up. Actually, what you need is a little arm. So a bit of scrap to hold on, and then you can get that in the right place so that it's unstuck. So stick that in the middle. Because it's a scallop circle, it's harder to line up. And that's how we get our hole in the middle there. But this one needs to be die cut, so I shall die cut that and come back. So that's got my hole in there. Got a nice little die cut there for another use. So that is going to get stuck over that, and then that's the right size for your tombow. If you use that one, it would just fall through, and it would, well, I'll show you when I do it. So then we just make this like you would a box. Notch both sides, rotate. This is so there's no, the bulk isn't all on one side, although it doesn't particularly matter for this, as you know. Cut it too far there, don't matter. There we go. And then we're going to just put glue on the corners of all these flaps. I think that might have been the one I cut a bit too much. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to put glue on 3 sides, but not this centerpiece. So I'm just checking, because there's always human error. Yeah, we'll do it that way. And these are the bits that help make it stronger, because you're sort of reinforcing the sides as you're doing this. Now what I was going to show you was if you put Tombow in that. It kind of falls. You may like that. I didn't. So that's why I made this top for it. So I'm just going to put glue around the edges. And stick that on top. It also gives you a bit of reinforcement there on the top. So that's our 3 sections, and all we need to do is glue those together. So we are going to put glue on this bit. And stick them together. They're all the same width, so it's 4.5 inches wide. This glue doesn't hold as quickly as Tombow, but when it's held, it's really strong. So there we are. Now it feels a bit flimsy right now, so we're going to reinforce all of that. But that's the basics done. Okay. So now we are going to, because this is quite flimsy, so we're going to reinforce all of those sides, and I'm using clips of coral. This one I reinforced them all in fresh fig, which is why they've got a different colour on the inside than the outside. So we've got a piece for the bottom, which is 4 by 4.5, but I've sort of added a smidge because it needs a smidge, because you've got 2 layers of cardstock there stuck together, so you need to add just a smidge. So the back is 4.5 by 3 plus not quite a 1/16. The 2 sides are 4 1/8 by 3 and a 1/16. But what I would do is, when you cut them, is like sort of measure, because you might have done a little bit of human error on each one of these cuts, which could add a slight bit all the way to it. And then the front is 4.5 plus a smidge by 1.5. Okay, so the sides, I've got another step to it, but these are just straightforward stuck on. So I'll get these stuck on, I'll speed it up. So when it comes to doing the sides, that measures 1.5. So on the short side, just do a little mark at 1.5 there, and then draw a line up to that corner, and that's what you're going to cut off. So I'm just going to bring in my guillotine, my really old guillotine. Cut that down, and that should fit there nicely. It might have been that side. It would fit better. That's good enough for me. Quite happy with that. You could, of course, make your box in the same colour that you're going to cover it with, and then you won't have to worry about any bits showing. I just didn't think about that until right this moment, actually. But yeah, so if you make the box the same colour as what you're now adding, and you won't see it so much. So and then we're going to do some matting with some cardstock. So I've got some Pacific Point and then this lovely paper here, and I'll show you. Out of the 12 by 12 sheet, I cut 4 inches down, and I got them all out of that, really. So yeah, didn't use very much at all on that. So these are going to get matted. I'm just double checking that I cut them all correctly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not bothering with the bottom. The bottom can stay as it is now. Doesn't need any more on the bottom. So the mats are just 1/4 of an inch shorter and thinner. So this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. The front is 4 1/4 by 1 1/4, and the sides are 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. I say all the measurements will be on my blog. So we're now up to 3 pieces of cardstock on this, so it's quite sturdy. This is the only one that hasn't got an extra bit in it to give it a little bit of extra sturdiness. And actually, when I made my original, I made that one double thickness, but it's fine. I decided not to on this one. Decided it didn't need it. I did double thickness on the front, but then I decided it didn't need it. Lovely bright colours to cheer me up when I'm crafting. So I did the same with this. So I measured 1 1/4, because this will be the mat will be 1 1/4, and drew a diagonal line so that this could get cut off and matted up, although it doesn't look quite right. I'm actually going to come down 1/4 of an inch at the top there. I think that'll do it. Yes, cooking on gas. Right, so to get that, what I do is measured, so that's 1 1/4 there. So put a pencil mark at 1 1/4, but come down here about 1/4 of an inch and do that diagonal. So 1/4 of an inch down there and 1/4 of an inch, 1 1/4 of an inch there, and that will then be cut. Could of course use this one as a guide, but I didn't. So that. Cool. So that's what I'm going to do for the other one as well. I need to remember that and write those instructions down. I knew I was missing something with trying to do this. And so now we just need the DSP. So we've got 4 by 2.5 for the back. The two sides are 3.5 by 2.5, and the strip on the front is 1 by 2.5, and they just mat nicely in. Just think that's so cute. So to do the side bits, we need to go up 1 inch. So if we measure 1 inch, we'll do it on the back. I had already drawn a line there, so we've marked 1 inch, but we need to come down there 1/4 of an inch, and we draw that diagonal. So that first diagonal I drew is incorrect. So we're going to draw that diagonal, and I think if we look at that, that'll do nicely. Yeah. So let me go through that again. We'll go up 1 inch on here and down 1/4 of an inch on here, and join those two lines up. And I'm going to write that on this post-it, and then so we'll get these stuck on now. And there we have it. But we just need to add a little bit of decoration. All on my others I have tied, put ribbon round. On this one I've used the die, and probably my most favourite die in the set is this row of buttons, and I've already cut them out ready, and they're just gorgeous. Look at that, how cute's that? And so I'm just going to stick these on here, on each bit. And there we have it, my adhesive holder. All ready to have a second one by me, by where I'm filming. What do you reckon? I love it. So I'll probably end up making all the others in the same as well, making all my storage again. I absolutely love making storage because it's crafting, and then it's making what I need, and that is what I needed, because I had this kitchen appliance thing. Well, the dimensionals didn't quite fit, these didn't fit, these just fell over and then I couldn't find them. There's a fast fuse in there which I completely didn't know was in there. I can put fast fuse in there if I want to, or indeed in that side, and have them both, because I quite often use fast fuse when I'm, but you can see once I put my fast fuse in there it was gone forever. So now that takes up less room and it's got everything in I need. Okay, so all the details and all those mountains of measurements will be over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk, and there'll be a link to the blog hop. So if you haven't been on the blog hop, please go and explore and see what everybody else has been doing with new items from the catalogue. People have used different ones, and it's a good way to see all the different ones. If you like that, please like and subscribe. If you haven't seen all my other sort of storage, then do sort of click back and go and have and see how I made all these other made to measure storages as well. Okay, see you again soon.